this one will be live definitely.
The link change?
No, you need to pay the.
Or you want me to do the bus first? Like you need to record the bus, right?
Bus will be short, so we have a lot of time.
Yeah, but you have to do the bus.
Take your time with the bus, Wendy.
Take your time with the bus.
Use all your 20 minutes total.
Okay. Oh,
You don't take the
maybe a new link?
Yeah.
Okay. So use message passing via image.
Give everyone the link.
Yeah, this is a link. No, just scan it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can go.
Oh, sorry.
Hello. Do a final mic test. Okay. Who is Mike? I'm Mike.
Okay, good evening again, everyone.
Hello,
Hi.
everyone.
My name is Wendy, and
I'm Chileong.
all right, so we're going to start off with the buzz, which is everything that has new stuff that happened in the past month.
In case you guys didn't know, there's no food today. Yay. Yeah.
But there's water.
Yeah, it's something called like a periodical fasting thing. It's good for you, supposedly.
Yes. You can meet your resolution today.
Yeah. So, no, it doesn't detect my signal. I'm too far away. Sorry. Technical issues as usual. Oh, what?
Okay, maybe I can.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I can just control Emmanuel like this. All right. By January we just hit 700 plus members. So yeah, give everybody a big clap. You guys are part of it. Be proud. So who we are?
We're a bunch of people who hang out on the Slack channel of Engineers My.
Yeah.
If you feel like joining or you haven't joined yet, you should totally check out engineers.my.
Yeah. Yeah. Just join up.
Yeah. Post a lot of random stuff on. Yeah.
Yep. And the monthly meetup will be announced on meetup.com. Do join the group so you get the latest updates. Also, just in case there's similar. We had some issue with the original venue for this month, so check out the announcement as well to get the updates of the meetup. So other meetups, yeah. Oh, so this is the list that for the rest of the meetups. The first one is DevOps Curator meetups, which is mainly the swimming approved. Swimming is the guy standing here. Swimming approved meetup. So another one is Top One, which is Scraper, which is like every single meetup around this Klangberry area. So yeah, do check them out. And also, where's Tristan? Tristan is also the one that maintaining the DevOps meetup list. Yeah. So house rules.
Minimal bike shading.
Do you want to explain what is bike shading?
I forgot what it means. What does it mean?
Is there anybody here that doesn't know what is a bike shade? Okay, so you need to explain again.
If I remember correctly, I think it means like being pedantic about something, right? I think like you don't you come across a point that you don't agree with, and then you feel like arguing to the end of days about that.
The point is that when we discuss something that's actually very important, no one actually cares. Let me tell you a story. So in a meeting room, a regular meeting room, a planning meeting room about a project, if you talk about something really serious and very complicated, like how to build a nuclear submarine, nobody will come out to give any suggestion. But if you ask about what should be the color of the bike shade, and everybody will come up with all sorts of colors, including things that are not colors. Like the color should be square. Yeah, and this kind of thing. That is bike sharing. So I hope guys understand the analogy. So so the next, participate, talk with the people around you. Yeah,
Agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's okay to bring out a discussion, but you
Yeah.
know, don't get so
Yeah.
heated.
Spend your time argue about it, but yeah, be respectful. So what? Yeah.
Today our organizer is Shazwan and also
Shazwan.
and
Yeah.
and
Mind
Mind
Valley.
Valley. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
And
Next, what's
Okay,
gonna?
so who remembers what happened in the last month? Anyone?
Anybody who doesn't know what is a bus? Okay, a bus is like a news or I don't know. Is there a more political incorrect way to say bus? I don't know. Then bus. Okay, yeah, a fact.
Tabloid.
Yeah, but it's mainly about news. So yeah, less about the fact. So we don't. So you want to add
Huh?
more into the busing?
Or like you know, we just post like a lot of things in the Slack channel, and then
Yep.
you know, across the whole month you can get lost. You know, you see like 100 over Slack messages and you don't feel like reading them all. So we try to
Join the channel for more buzzes and also for more bike sharing. So okay, the first one we'll cover is squash. I don't know why people like squash. There's a lot of products or technology that's with the same name. Especially been stay around for quite a while. Like there's a squash FS as well. Apparently this is a new stuff called Squash, which is supposedly microservice debugger. If you don't understand what that means, let's go to the next one. It's actually a debugger that supports all of the beneath. So yeah. So apparently this is nowadays when you develop anything that related to web and stuff, it is microservice. So that's a bus. So yep. Play around with it. Yep, this is how we work beneath. So yep, have fun.
I kind of read a bit about it, and I think what it does is like, since your microservices are so distributed, so Squash can help you to like debug all these microservices in one go. Because well, I came from monolithic to microservice, and I have this frustration where I cannot have like one smooth flow. So it seems like Squash is helping to solve this problem. So I would definitely check it out after this. But what were the other things that the other Squash that you were talking about? Are they doing the same?
No, they are different stuff.
Oh, they're not microservice debuggers.
They are related to microservice, like Squash FS, that's related to Docker, something like that. And okay. And yep, apparently it helps you to debug your running container, mainly connect to your Kubernetes API.
Definitely check them out. Yeah.
I actually have issues of whether I should turn here or here.
I think just
So something for Netflix, which is Spinnaker. So this is the CD for containers in a way, or for your Kubernetes, I guess. I think big stuff. What's the difference is CI. Jenkins is like the CI. So and also like what's your favorite CI again? Jenkins, yeah. CI, what? Okay, come on. CI is supposed to get the code, get the change from your GitHub, from your Git repository, and build it and produce you something like a Docker image and stuff, but it doesn't handle the delivery part. So Spinnaker apparently is the part that deliver your built artifact to the productions or your staging, whatever that is.
Yeah, seems quite well supported since they have like Netflix and Microsoft and all that.
Yeah, check them out. So this is how you use them. And yeah, I think probably Michael, you have a lot of opinion on that because apparently HashiCorp cannot do all this stuff. So we should actually get Michael to talk about HashiCorp one day for the DevOps meetup. So the next one is good news. GitHub is now offering free private repo for everybody. Yeah, yeah. I guess everybody knows what GitHub is or use GitHub at least. Yeah. So try them out if you haven't. So.
I actually don't know what this is about. Oh, that was last month, in December. Oh, okay.
Maybe Tristan can explain since he shared the link.
Yeah.
Surprise! No, it's.
Are you involved?
But no. But you see, you didn't notice it, and that's the point actually of GitHub is that they just survived the biggest DDoS attack that they've ever had without blinking.
Yeah.
And then they of course chronicled how the preparations for these, because they were expecting these to happen, and it all worked out in the end, and eventually I guess the DDoS attackers just gave up and stopped it.
And for you guys who didn't know, this seems to be something like an anniversary event for GitHub. Every single year at the early of the year, they'll suffer the biggest DDoS for that year. So yeah, this year they just pass it. And to celebrate, they give us free private repo. Correlation, talking about correlation and causation. So all right. The next one is sad news. Hyper SH is shutting down today. Is it today or?
It's today.
Yeah.
Anyone here using HyperSH in production or anything?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone here is very lucky because they only have like 2 weeks to respond to this and migrate everything. So obviously a lot of people are not very happy with that. But yeah, I mean, luckily you're not on it.
Yeah. So, these are the cutters.
Yeah, the reason they shut down because they want to focus on this.
You should use the mic. Where's your mic?
The reason
The mic behind you.
the reason they're shutting down because they're pivoting and focusing on these kata containers is a bunch of they say it's like it's a super lightweight VM. It uses Intel Clear Container Tech and Hyper Run V. Sounds I don't know, I didn't check deeper, but it sounds a lot like Firecracker and all that isolates stuff.
It looks very interesting
Last
from the look
month.
of it. So
Too bad.
So-
Anyone know more about it? Can share?
yeah, Michael, you want to share? Yeah, that's what everyone told me just now.
It's like Firecracker, is it?
Oh.
Yeah. That's what I get from the.
You want to talk about it? We can do a lightning. Right. Well, this is a very useful resource for PagerDuty. So I think this slide will be shared afterwards. So
Can I ask quickly how many of you guys do incident response with PagerDuty? With anything other than PagerDuty? What's the tool, sir? It's a in-house one.
why don't you come down here?
Is it expensive?
Yeah.
PagerDuty?
No, PagerDuty is actually a role.
PagerDuty is like per user is $39 a
it's
month.
actually a
I think 39 or 49, something like that. It's not that cheap.
Okay. Do you use that?
You don't share the account? Okay, very unnecessary.
All right, let's go to the next one. Oh,
Ah.
that's all about it. Anybody has new buzzers to share? Come on, you guys. LT of what? Yeah, more buzz. I'm gonna IoT this big data or blockchain with machine learning. Yeah, whatever that is. for the week, I guess.
Okay, so let's get on with the talk. Let's invite Sai, yeah, to come and present his talk. Let's give him a big hand.
I'm gonna set your slide first. Just
Manual?
back. Try now.
Before I start, let me just say quickly that after his talk, we'll open the floor for a few minutes for job ads. If you guys want to advertise jobs or vacancies in your company, because we have people here who wants to do just that, and also people who are looking for a job. So, yeah, maybe prepare your pitch and why should they join, but keep it short. Yeah. Thanks.
Hello guys, this is Sai. Um, I work as Senior Linux System Admin at Sam Media. To everyone who knows or who doesn't know about Sam Media, it's a mobile marketing company where we have traffic for ads, because mostly it's about ads delivery, and we have platform and which also handles about the mobile billing.
Can you guys hear him? No. Louder,
Yeah.
please.
Okay. Okay, so we will be talking about the journey to the center of DevOps at Sam Media. So we will be talking about the problems and the solutions that we have for those problems, and what we have in the pipeline for this year, and also and time for you guys to talk. Okay, so and first with the problems and solutions. I'm not going into the technicalities of all the problems that we have and how we solve them. It's more about how it was and how we changed and what we were using and what are we using now. That's how. Okay. So the first and main problem that we had was the data centers. So we had physical data centers in Malaysia and Netherlands, and it was a problem because to make any changes, we had to follow up with the data center guys, and which everyone knows it's a very common problem with the data centers. And since we have very high traffic, we have to wait for the scalability. Like if we want to upgrade our instances, we have to wait for the RAM to be upgraded or for the hard disk to be upgraded. It used to take time. Same way, we don't have the ability to auto scale instances when we really want to add some intelligence into our application on how we handle it. So this was the main problem. So the solution to it is move to the cloud. That's it. So, and it's to the AWS because it's the popular choice for the cloud. And we started moving all our servers to AWS and all our services that we had. So basically, like, as you all know, EC2 and S3 for file storage and RDS for the database instances. Okay, and that was fine. And while moving, while migrating everything from the physical data center to the cloud, we had one more problem, that we realized that our server and our platforms were not that well structured. So that is when you realize, like when you have manual interventions in solving the problems, people log into the server, they make changes, they add some files here and there, and no one knows in the team. So this is a common problem, and the solution to it is using a configuration management tool. So we picked Salt Stack to use as our configuration management instead of Puppet or Chef, because it was Ruby based and Salt is based on Python. And also we didn't pick Ansible at that time because Salt has this a different protocol which uses a queuing. It queues the jobs to the Salt minions and then it works. So we didn't want to use only the SSH part, but we wanted to use a protocol which will actually do things properly. The next problem, when we have developers building their own stuff, they build with any OS and any version that they like. And you know, the versions will be different from one and the other person. So we had this problem. That is when we realized, because we want to launch an instance or set up something, and you want to use it as a shared machine between two different applications, and you cannot do it because you have different stuff running because your developers have made it that way. So to solve this, the main thing that we started using is Docker, as everyone does. Okay, so we will provide the platform for you. You can actually build any Docker image that you like on any platform or any OS of your like, and we will run it for you. So that's how it is. So to run Docker, we had this another problem on which operating system we have to use Docker. So after a bit of research, we found that Rancher OS is perfect for it because, how many of you have used Rancher? None? One. Exactly, okay. Okay, so Core OS and Rancher OS, there's a difference between these two. Rancher OS, the purpose of Rancher OS being built is to run Docker. So if you look at a Rancher OS running, the PID one would be Docker, system Docker. But that's not the case for Core OS. Okay. For Rancher, the main part is to run the system Docker, and it runs the Docker as a container on top of the Docker. So it's all Docker. And the main reason that we wanted is to run Docker. So we didn't want to use anything else. And so it will be very efficient on the CPU and the RAM. So that's it. And also the difference to mention with the Core OS, you have many components coming with it by default, like etcd, Flannel, Fleet, which are actually useful for Kubernetes and stuff, but not just to run the plain Docker. So since we wanted to run the plain Docker stuff, we just chose Rancher OS. And also the ISO is like 20 MB. And you use Cloud Config to run it. So you cannot use it on your personal machine. Okay. And another problem we had was with ELK. In ELK, Elasticsearch was fine, but Logstash was giving us a lot of problems. So we had rsyslog to forward all the logs from the containers to a centralized location. And we had Logstash there, processing and parsing all the logs and pushing them to Elasticsearch. So the machines that were running Logstash were actually dying because Logstash was too hungry, and the machines were not able to handle the volume of the logs that we were having. So after thinking a lot, we replaced Logstash with FluentD. FluentD is also one more log forwarder tool and also log aggregator. So the main point of using FluentD is we can forward the logs and also we can aggregate them at the same time. Like the parsing of the logs would be done at the source. So it's not like we just forward all the logs to one particular machine and then we parse the logs. It's like we parse them while we are actually sending them to the Elasticsearch. So the logs that are going into the Elasticsearch will be directly from the host machine and they will be parsed already. So, and the FluentD images was built on Alpine. Many of you would know it, and it's very light. Okay, so what we have in the pipeline, Kubernetes, yes, because everyone wants to use it now since they have realized the problems with the Docker. And there are, at one point you have to move forward, so yeah, even we want to use it. And then we are going to use Terraform because we use AWS and we want our infrastructure to be as declarative code. It's like we don't want someone to be logging into or using the access keys and change things so that we wouldn't know what all is running in our account. With Terraform, we will be able to have all the infra as a declarative code so that any changes would be going through us. And next is distributed tracing, because now it's all microservices, like we have Docker containers running and we have multiple apps that are dependent, and we have in-house built modules that are dependent on each other. So sometimes debugging them will be a huge headache. So to provide insights on how we can solve issues to the developers so they can have a good understanding of what's happening with their application when they containerize and they run it as a microservice. That is when distributed tracing comes into the picture. And we have open tracing and a few tools on the internet which we can actually try. And as usual, we have AWS optimizations running, and everyone will have it. It's a never-ending process. So capacity planning and making changes and seeing how your servers are doing, or if your application has become any better to use less resources so that you can reduce some costs. And that's all we have. And yes, we are hiring also. And if you just want to make your hands dirty, yes. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
So you mentioned problem with your log. So what kind of volume are you talking about, and that gave you such problem with Logstash?
It's not only about the volume, it's also about the types and what kind of content you have in the logs when we parse the logs. So if you have one file of 100 MB having the same content and 10 different files having 10 different varieties of logs, to parse them, this would take much longer than the first case. So overall we have like 1 TB per day as the logs volume. And we have like 50 different types of logs that we have to parse. So Logstash was really having problems doing it because it's a combination from all different servers, and it had to do it on one particular server, which is not a good idea.
So anyone else generating 1 terabyte volume a day? For logs, no? 1 terabyte logs per day, no? Okay. So you wanted.
How long does it take to do all this kind of migration from your data center to the cloud, and is it finished 100%?
Yes, it is done. It's been done, and we what all I mentioned in the pipeline is what we are actually working on. So it's all done. So it's all history.
How long it took?
I'm sorry.
I mean, like how many years? How many months?
It was like 6 to 12 months.
6 to 12 months.
Yeah.
And you did the migration just as shift and left, or you did a modification for the application?
Yeah, it was done like at the time of migrating the data center. We have done the Dockerization of the apps and stuff.
Okay,
so it was all done together.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
Was there overall cost savings for a given similar volume of traffic?
It's always not about the cost, and it's also about the reliability that we can have on AWS so that our application would be up and running. Because that was one of the main causes that we had to move from the physical data center, because there were multiple downtimes and your application will be down. And so we did not have this problem with AWS at all. Sorry? Yeah, we are using Singapore and Frankfurt primarily, and there are some other regions that are used for different purposes, but the main core business is from this. Any other questions? That's one. No, it's more about Dockerizing the existing application. Uh, yeah, it's still the same. Docker deployments, we have it's not about Docker deployments, it's more about creating an image and just pushing it and then pulling it on the servers. So it's more of a script. We integrate Salt to do it, and we have an inbuilt tool for our deployments, which we use. And it's mostly like a shell script running, and which in turn triggers Salt to do it. Yeah.
So it doesn't involve anyone SSH into a machine and pulling.
No, it doesn't.
How big is your teams and supporting how many developers?
It was like 3 to 4 people. Mm. The dev team is bigger, but not sure how many of them were involved. From the infra and the operations point of view, this is it. One minute.
What kind of Git workflow that do you use for the Kubernetes deployment?
We are not yet there. We are still working on migrating our Docker services to Kubernetes. So the thing that we are actually working on is starting up a very stable platform on Kubernetes so that we don't have to worry about it. Because practically speaking, there are not many people who know the working of Kubernetes and the internals very well. And if something fails, and you know how it is. No, it's not ECS, it's EC2, and we use Rancher OS on top of it. So EC2 is our resource machine, and we run Rancher OS on top of it, which runs only Docker. It doesn't have anything else, so it's not ECS. Sorry? Scaling, we use auto scaling for some of them. Yeah, for the instances, when we have to launch any instances. But luckily we didn't get that yet because the containers were able to handle all the traffic now. Scalability and reliability. Um, so as I mentioned, that the main problem that we had with physical data centers was they were not reliable. When we have, for example, if you have a hard disk on your machine that's running your web server, and you're like, okay, maybe not web server, you can talk about your database server. Okay, so now we don't have that problem with AWS. So we are much reliable, and our services are always up. We don't have to face the downtimes because resources like, or the servers being as a problem causing the downtime. When there's no downtime, so there's no need for metrics for that. Yeah, I get that, yeah. No, it's been more than a year now, like more than 1.5 to 2 years, so we are quite stable now with this. Yeah.
What was the process of getting the developers to be familiar with and on board to using Docker?
Yeah, so all the Docker files that we use are in the code base of the developers. So sometimes the developers are the ones who write the Docker files and they build their own image. So we force the developers to give us the Docker image, more like the Docker file, so that if you run it, if you run that image, if you build it and run that image, we should have a proper service running. So that's more of a discipline to the developers.
So the developers are actually quite okay with writing their own Docker files.
Yeah, because developers also wants to know all this stuff and they like to do it. And And that's why DevOps and all this thing is happening.
One of the frequently asked questions is that developers wanting to learn Docker. Do you have any insights on what are the resources for developers that work for you to get them to actually understand Docker?
Usually the Docker documentation should be enough, and I will not give them more resources because they might take up my job. So.
What language stacks are you using, and which is the most complicated part of your application that you are running in Docker? Is it all your applications stateless, or?
Yeah, mostly everything is stateless because it's not only with the applications, also the system that we run is all like, it's all containers. So for example, SNMP, or if we are running SSSD, or NTPD is also a Docker container that runs on our machine. So
it sounds like you're planning on rolling your own Kubernetes like cluster on top of, say, like EC2 or your own machines, right? Is there a reason you're not going for a managed service instead, like EKS or? Yeah.
Haven't explored that. So when you go to a managed service, it's more like you know the problems of when you host it. So when you host the service, you know the problems, and that's why you go to a managed service. So by default, it's like it's a new thing in the market, and you have to know what all the internals are and how a Kubernetes cluster actually works. And that is when you can actually rely on someone else managing the service for you.
Is it also partly the storage access?
I'm sorry, I didn't see you. Yeah.
Is it partly the storage access for you to do something with a managed service like EKS?
Not really. Even EC2 is like a managed service. So AWS, for example, you don't know what they're doing with your stuff, right? So
I just want to ask about your ELK.
yeah.
Does it running on a cluster mode?
ELK, are you referring to the Elasticsearch?
Yeah.
Yes.
How many instances are running on the cluster?
Six instances of, I think it's 1 TB of space, 1 TB of hard disk. I don't remember the instance type, but yeah, it's 1 TB. So 6, yeah, it's 6. It was 10 before, so we managed it to bring it to 6. So, and we also upgraded it to Elasticsearch 6, which was like 1 year back when AWS released it. We were like the early adopters of it. Yeah. That's it? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, sorry, continue. Bill, it goes about $30,000 per month. And we are still trying to reduce it.
We need to stop right now. Any questions, just ping him for more. Like, probably over a 10 direct session. So everybody takes turns to buying a 10 direct for any question you want. Can I ask one more thing about your other side? Can you at least add your contact information there? Yeah.
Okay.
He is a contact person.
What's his phone number?
Maybe I'll share the links, or you can update it.
All right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Sai. So thank you so much for the participation. So I wanted to stress that about the cost. You really need, if you use Amazon, you really need to check what you can save. Like some people just run EC2 just like that. They don't know about reserve instances. You can save tens of thousands per month, like they did. If you look into it, not just EC2, if RDS also has its own reserve instances. Redshift also, if you use Redshift like some media does, they reserve for 1 year. Yes, they pay upfront like few thousand, 30,000, something like that. But over the long run, it saves a lot of money. So hold on. No. Before
You have a revision?
we are super early, right? So I dedicated initially like 5 minutes for job ads, but since we have like 15 minutes, let's take our time. So anybody who wants to please come in front so people can see you and.
Hi everyone. This is the first time I joined the DevOps meetup. I'm Pang. I'm from Experience. I'm not sure you heard about Experience.
Okay, so I need to be there.
No, okay. We had the openings actually. Joined our DevOps teams. We had a small DevOps team in Malaysia. Then we managing our continuous delivery pipeline. We're doing Jenkins. We have 50 to 100 microservices. Also, we have a huge monorepos, a kind of monolithic application as well. Yes. Oh, why not? Yeah, we can plan about that. We are using OpenShift for our productions. Then the technology is like, I think we use Terraform as well to managing our cloud infrastructures. We are AWS house as well. So yep, I'm looking for a DevOps engineer. You're young, is passionate about continuous delivery, how you put your code into production. Come and join us. Yes. You need any contact, just come to me so I can share with you. Any other questions? You want to know more? Oh, it's Cyberjaya, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it is. We had a max highway, so not a problem. So, yes, it's best point. Okay. Yeah. We can talk about more on that. Yeah. There are a lot of good food where you cannot find in KL, and cheap some more. Right. So no more questions. Thank you.
Anyone else wants to do job ads? Just head on front.
Hi everyone, this is also my first meetup. I'm actually not an engineer, but I'm part of the Mindvalley team, so I'm here also to tell you welcome on behalf of everyone. We're really happy to have you here. And we have a fun presentation of our team that we hope you will like, and I'll tell you a couple of things after that.
This is Mindvalley Technology Team. We're a very serious education company. This is Teja.
Hello.
Our lead developer. His favorite coding language is Ruby.
Sorry.
This is Mindvalley Quests, our revolutionary online learning platform. Quests is a part of our mission to evolve education for all of humanity and build the world's most advanced global school. This is one of our meeting rooms. We call it the Jedi Room.
Hey guys, can you hear me? Hey. Is it working? Can you hear me?
Yep.
So, can you tell me what's the objective of this meeting?
This is Andrea, Mindvalley Scrum Master and Team Lead. Andrea works from home whenever she needs to focus. This is Kuala Lumpur, home of Mindvalley HQ. It's a melting pot of amazing people, culture, and food. This is Alsu,
Hi.
our head of technology products, and she can hold her breath for 2 minutes. This is our weekly team meeting. We call it the A Report. See that guy on stage? That's our CEO, Vishen. He's got a degree in computer engineering and is obsessed with reforming global education. This is our superhero collection. It reminds us that we build apps and tech to awaken people's inner superheroes. This is the Alkagizer. It's a green drink that we love because we're health nuts. But some of us prefer coffee, and that's cool too. This is our annual team retreat. Each year we fly everyone to a paradise resort for 4 days of bonding, parties, and personal growth. These are our developers solving a problem. You see, Building technology to revolutionize education is no easy feat, but with enough smart brains, we believe we can solve any problem and elevate humanity together. This is the Weekly Tech Social, because even smart brains need to unwind. And this is an empty desk in our tech office. And this is our careers page where you could claim that desk for yourself. Join the Mind Valley Tech team. You'll like it here.
So at least you can say, because you're already here, like this is the all of awesomeness, you're here. The Jedi room is just right there. So this is not just myth, but things that exist in real life. And it's true that our team is also very international. So I'm Italian, for example. Just moved here to Malaysia 4 months ago. And now I'm working with the technology team to really, not just recruit, but really think about talent, career progression, and all of those things. So I know that probably, in case you have questions, also the rest of the team is here. So you can ask questions after that. So thank you so much.
All right, I think we have time for 1 or 2 more job ads. Anyone? Anyone hiring at all?
They're all there. Yeah.
Hello, I'm David, currently attached with Star Media Group. I was previously doing a number of DevOps stuff, but I've moved on to become a solution architect for Star Media. Then for Star Media, we are trying to look for folks who are from system administration background and more towards DevOps to join us. So if I were to pitch what are the stuff that we have in Star Media, it would be a blank piece of paper that's up to you how you want to how you want to draw it. At least that was what happened to me last time when I was in for the book. It's a blank piece of paper, so I can do whatever stuff that I want. So I mean, if you have what it takes and you want to try something completely from ground up, try different stuff, try different approach, just look for me. I'll be over here. Thank you very much.
Hello, everybody. Michael Liao here from Money Lion. So yeah.
I can't take photo of you.
Yeah, so if you are wondering how you can actually design a modern bank, you can join us. Our customers are in US, but we have most of our engineering team here. So whether you are interested in AI, you can talk to my colleagues. You can join me in the SRE team for the systems part, or if you really like Java, you can learn Spring Boot here. So yeah. Not yet. Slowly, I'm trying to get Golang into the organization, but slowly we will get there eventually. So yeah, come talk to me. This year's project is to create a credit card, so you got to figure out how to run a credit card system.
You get root access.
Yeah, you get root access. Yeah. Unlimited cash, loan in 10 minutes.
It's good no one's recording this. No, it's recorded. Yeah, exactly. That was being sarcastic.
Okay, so that was Michael and David. Yeah, so go talk to them if you want any jobs. Anyone else?
Or anybody is looking for a job? Is anybody looking for a job? Yeah.
Everyone has a job now. Oh,
Job now.
maybe you should pitch yourself.
Thank you for offering. I am Harsh, a refugee in Malaysia, freelancer and DevOps also, and also developer in Python mostly. I'd like to work with a very interesting team, and I don't like something like legacy teams and sleepy team, very active team. I hope I can get one job like that, and thanks for this chance. Thank you.
Right. I think if there's no more, then we're gonna move on to our next speaker. Ash.
Okay. Hi everyone. Sorry, make a bit of an entrance, right? So first of all, I have to apologize. These are, I have to admit, these are recycled slides. I used them in a talk before, but I've made some last minute edits, so it should be okay. So the focus for today, I was listening to like, what was his name again? Hassan? No, the guy before him from Sam Media. And I was listening to his talk, like sort of going forward, and I was like, oh shoot, there's a lot that's actually quite similar between what we're gonna talk about. And then I heard his AWS build, and I was like, damn, that's good, because I'm talking about how to run all that stuff cheaply. So yeah, so here we go. So this is how to get to 20 deploys a day without breaking your bank. So three things, three ground rules initially. It'll be interactive. What I mean by that is basically ask me questions at any time. Feel free to like just interject. You don't have to wait till the end. There won't be live coding demos. Just want to say that up front. No keyboard. And also, I am cheap, but not when it comes to good tooling. So the choices that I made here that I'm going to talk about are all sort of optimizing for like best use first, and then after that cost. Right. So. First of all, while I was doing the research for this talk, right, you know, as anyone would, I just typed in DevOps into like Google Trends and sort of had a look. Okay, so it seems to be a trend that like started around 2012, started trending upwards, right? Top related queries for Malaysia is DevOps what is. I don't know why it's like that, but yeah, and then there's DevOps engineer, and then there's AWS DevOps. So, you know, like AWS is doing a really good marketing job. What's really weird though is that most of the searches seem to be coming from St. Helena with a 100 rating. So I didn't know where St. Helena was, so I looked it up, and it was this like island off the coast of the west coast of Africa. And I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it turns out it's a remote volcanic outpost where Napoleon Bonaparte's tomb is, and it's now empty. So his body's gone. So here's my theory. Napoleon Bonaparte has come back as a zombie, and he's assembling an army of DevOps engineers to take over the world. Okay? What's funny is when you look at Malaysia, so I focus this in on Malaysia, right? And here's the thing, right? For us, mostly, it's pretty low, the slope, except for in 2004. So I don't know who it was in 2004 that was searching about DevOps, but I feel like they're probably here. But yeah. So, and then we just kind of lost it after that. So yeah, there's the sort of jokey part of the talk over. So when you look up DevOps on Wikipedia, it sort of just tells you it's unifying software development and operations. Like, yeah, fairly obvious. But I think the key point that's actually interesting to focus here is on culture and practice. So what we defined as DevOps at VAS, which is a company I work for and co-founded, is the key there is actually culture and practice of reducing steps and differences between your engineer's laptop and production code. So you want to basically make sure that the code that you write, actually, can anyone hear me? Can I just drop the mic? Is that okay? Yeah, because it's like, mic? Okay, right. So yeah, reducing the steps and differences between engineer's laptop and production code. You want to make sure that there's no, works on my machine but doesn't work in production situations. Yeah, so, and if you put it in GIFs, it's bringing it from this as your time to deploy to this, Very, very calm approach to deploy. And also, you can fight me on this. I feel that I personally think that DevOps does not equal Agile. Again, I'm very happy to fight you on this. Yeah, okay. So at this point, you're probably thinking like, okay, fine, stop talking about what DevOps definition is. Okay, I just want to know how to do it. Great. So here are some of the key steps that I've sort of identified for it, right? Automated reproducible builds. What that means is that your developers are basically responsible, or our developers at VAS are responsible for deploying their own stuff. That means that I don't actually interject myself as the DevOps engineer, the de facto DevOps engineer. I don't interject myself anywhere in the deployment process. So you need VCS. I think everyone uses some form of VCS here, so that's good. And we use drone. So I don't know anyone here who knows about drone. Does anyone here use drone? Oh, wow. Okay, great. So drone is a self-hosted CI/CD server. It's a 15 megabyte Golang binary. And it basically runs everything inside of a Docker image. So every step of your build is a Docker image. And So you do not need to use Docker. That's the important thing. DevOps does not equal Docker either. And this is how you configure drones. So that's a snippet from a .drone.yml file. Every project at VAS has got a drone.yml file. So you'll see this is the deployment for our website basically. And I have a package and I have a SSH. Yeah, I use SSH to deploy to the servers, but at least it's not a person doing it. So I have reproducible builds. Yeah. So this is what drones UI looks like. It's quite nice. And actually, this is 0.8 right now. 1.0 is currently in RC3, and it should be coming out relatively soon. You define steps inside of the drone.yml, so you can see the steps there: clone, package, SSH, and then Slack. And their plugin ecosystem is actually really good, which is one of the reasons why I like drone as well. So yeah, this guide is more written for like people who are currently trying to bring sort of some form of DevOps into their company. So yeah, source control first, write your scripts, and then after that, run the same scripts for deploy that you run on your local. This will force you to pull out your secrets, and then finally, you know, once you have reproducible builds, you can profit. So where we are so far, I've put out like GitHub. Gogs is what we originally ran before we moved to GitHub. So one drone server, we currently still use this, by the way, for all our builds. So it's 2 GB RAM, $10 a month on DigitalOcean. One project uses Circle CI because of it has a Golang and React build process, which takes like 30 minutes. No, sorry, not Golang, sorry. It uses Meteor. It's an old thing that I want to get rid of. And finally, Docker Hub, which is really nice because it gives you unlimited tags and unlimited pushes for each image for 20 projects for $12. So I basically have an image for every single Git commit for a project.
The GitHub price is the latest pricing?
It is not the latest pricing because now it's $9. You're right. Yeah. So I need to update that. Thanks for noticing. The calculation here is without GitHub though. It's using the cheapest one, which is just hosting your own Git, which is Gox, like I said. That's a 5 megabyte binary. Automated promotion and deployment, that's the next step. So that's the SSH stage, which is where you actually get the stuff into the machine. How we do it at VAS, again, very, very simple because we only have 6 engineers and we only have like 2 main products. Every product just has, off develop and off master. Develop goes to beta and master goes to the main branch. And it's the same infra, it's the same build process. So we can, yeah, like I said, test code in the wild really easily just by pointing certain customers to beta. Because of the product is a B2B SaaS product, we can just tell them, okay, you go off the beta link and everyone else goes off the prod link. And finally, deploying to all customers is literally just git merge branch develop into master. Yeah, so where are we at so far? Double number of running services because every service has a beta or like a staging service. And then I've got like just a simple script to like clear the DB for the staging version every 3 hours. So we're at $52, $215 a month. So logging and instrumentation, we're not too good at this. This is about a month old at this point. What we're looking at right now is actually we're running a test version of Jaeger, which is the open tracing project that was donated by Uber. It's actually looking pretty useful because we have Traefik in front of most of our services, so that integrates very nicely with Jaeger already. If you want to talk about Jaeger more, I can probably talk with you after this, but also we'll have more data on that in about another couple of weeks, I would say. Yeah, so you might ask me why we're not using CloudWatch or X-Ray or Stackdriver. Mainly because we treat all our VMs as dumb machines and run Docker containers on top of them. It's really hard to push. It requires a lot of extra effort to like figure out how to push that data into like Stackdriver or CloudWatch. So, and yeah, we try to store everything as possible, just push it to S3. So that brings us to, we use Sematext just for logging right now. That's also a little bit outdated. Now we're looking into Jaeger. And then finally, it's like, yeah, feature of either cloud provider. So rollbacks and canary testing, this is a bit manual right now. Like I said, we build an image for every single git commit. So what we basically need to do is we need to, there's a bit of glue that needs to be written that we haven't written yet, which is to basically pull the last git commit version Docker image tag and then just deploy that one. So this is something that Drone doesn't have yet. And actually, once we write that plugin, we're probably going to look into open sourcing it as well, because I think if I write it myself, there's probably going to be a bunch of bugs. Yeah. So someone's already ready to head back. Yeah, so going back to, and I'm wrapping up anyway, so going back to the final, going back to the sort of definition again, right? It's culture and practice, right? Because fundamentally DevOps is not something, I believe it's not something that you can create, you can have just a team in your organization doing. It's something that needs to permeate your organization. All your engineers need to live and breathe DevOps, or at least the culture of it in that respect. This is one of the reasons why, like I said, I try to remove myself as a, between engineer, code, and and deploy product. And when you I was watching a video from Netflix where they gave a talk in 2017 where I think it was their one of their engineering leads was saying, you know, we don't have DevOps, we are DevOps at Netflix. You know, like everyone is DevOps because there's no DevOps team. So yeah, that's it. Any questions? So right now the deployment for we have one AI model, so it's not that not some, it's just one. And it's really a machine learning model rather than AI one. As of now, we have, for that one, the temporary solution is just throwing it into Azure Machine Learning Studio, and then just using the API off that for now. That's still in a, I would say that's partially in production, partially still in beta. So that still works for now. Once the pricing starts hitting us, then we'll look into we might look into some other options for that. I've been working on a side project thing. I don't know if anyone can actually tell me if there's a project like this out there to automatically convert Python notebooks into Python modules. I've been trying to find one. I can't find any.
Oh, ask these guys.
Yeah. So that, if you do know any project, open source project out there that does that, please talk to me. Please let me know.
Python notebook as a module.
It's messy.
Yeah, I'm just saying that you can.
I
I'm
know.
not saying you should. I'm just saying you can.
Yeah, I know.
Second question. Do you hold it? Okay, just hold it. Do you actually version your models, machine learning models, in your project?
So again, right now we're very, very new to this. We're very, very new to this. So right now, no. Right now it's just one version, which is the deployed version. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine that that's something that's important. I was just talking to Michael just now about how I was asking how Moneyline does it, and he told me that that's not my job. That's those guys' job. So
yeah,
ask those
them,
guys later.
Don't ask me.
Yeah. Mike.
So I'm not really an AI engineer, I'm a data scientist, but I know a bit. The way we do it is basically we create like a Java wrapper. We wrap the codes in a Java, some sort like a.
But that's because your systems use Java.
Yeah, so then the advantage for us is we can assign threads to the instance. Yeah, then we can do parallelization easier.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
A slight thing to admit here: all our services are written in Node.js, so no threads.
Okay. So that's how we do it.
Yeah.
So important questions. What is your QA process? Unit tests, integration tests. How do they flow?
Yeah, that's a really good point. We again opinionated, right? We do no unit tests, only integration. All tests are integration basically, and the integration tests are all because our main product is a B2B SaaS product, which is a web dashboard basically with everything inside of it. All integration tests are basically browser automation tests. So we use Cypress, CYPRESS. we were an early adopter of it, so now we've been grandfathered into a pretty decent plan. But their pricing is not that expensive as well. It basically is a Chrome instance that you can automate. And so we basically, as part of the CD that you saw just now, one of the steps is just, okay, run the 8 Cypress tests that are needed to test the dashboard. Okay, draw this rectangle on this place and then see whether the data comes out the way it's supposed to, export Excel file, all this stuff. Yeah. So Cypress is hosted, so they do have an actual video that they stream to their platform. You could, if you wanted to be super cheap, you could actually just do that with Puppeteer, and headless Chrome. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very happy that I don't have physical data centers, honestly. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Great. Slide link is there. I'm gonna leave this up for a bit, and then customary, just sort of plug. We're hiring Node.js, Golang, and also DevOps infra to come and figure out the next iteration of what I just told you is. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So that's it, guys. Usually after the meetup here, some of us will go to the mamak downstairs or makan, So join. Tristan, you going? No, anyone going? Chiliong, you going?
I just get back.
Yeah, Han, you can join him if you see him. Just chat about stuff. So I do encourage you guys to come. Thank you so much. The participation tonight was amazing. Thank you so much to everyone involved.
No. No. Yes, already talk about it.
Yeah, and we actually live stream. We forgot to announce that. We live stream this, so everything will be on YouTube.
Oh, this live stream.
Later.
Yeah.
So join the Slack if you can. I'll share the stuff there. And yeah, before you leave, try to clean up after yourselves. Put the bin bags in order. And,
we are responsible adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a request here. Let's take a picture in front.
Also, I'm gonna post the video of the recording just now to the Meetup page and also Facebook. So.
Picture time. On the stage, guys. Ash, come on, you speak. You must be here. Sai, where's Sai? Come, Sai. Can be on the stage.